today, and I was like, she's the greatest partner for this kind of thing because we end up having so much fun. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Long Island, New York, this is Love, Death, and Taxes. I am hoping you will really enjoy today's show because we are definitely going to enjoy it. Right, Agnes?
Absolutely. Can't wait to start talking about it.
That's right. That's right. Ladies and G's, today we're going to be talking about love and technology, how dating apps, social media, and the internet are reshaping the face of romance, and how we're all getting reshaped because of it too. I like the new opener because it's got all the Spotify stuff on it, has all the logos and where you can find us, ladies and gents. If you are looking
I like
for,
it.
you like that, right? If
The
you are
pictures
looking,
I like.
that's right. I got the picture of you correct, right?
Yes.
But ladies and gents, if you want to hear this, you're like, oh my gosh, they take so long on YouTube or wherever. You can hear this on Spotify. You can hear this on Google Podcasts. You can get this on Apple Podcasts as well. We are pushing it out there. You hear us on YouTube. You can see it on LinkedIn. You can see it on Facebook. Uh, this is Love, Death, and Taxes. The conversations about the inevitable things in life. My wonderful and lovely co-host is Agnes Amasano. How are you doing? And good, good. And I'm
Yes. Yes.
Ryan O'Neill Williams. You going on a trip, huh? You're going out. You're leaving me for a little while. But yeah, having a good.
Yeah. So are you? Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get to this wonderful subject.
Exactly. Let's get right into it. So, ladies and gents, I don't know about you, but I am constantly hearing about apps. I'm constantly hearing about uh, people falling in love now over apps. And it wasn't as common before, but now it's like the thing, right? Um, are you using the apps to find love? Have you used the apps to find love? How's that working out for you? What do you think, Agnes?
Well, we're talking back 14 years ago. So yes, I actually, well, I don't think there were apps back then, but dating websites.
Yes. Yeah, the
I
technology.
mean, yes, technology is changing drastically. But you might say it's the same thing because right now those websites became apps. And but actually, my husband and I we met on one of the dating sites. My son met his wife on a dating website. So it's no longer going to church to find a good boy to marry. It's no longer going out. It's more convenient.
Yeah.
But there is big but there because I'm not sure if you ever set up a dating profile. When you set up a dating profile, you put, you of course you describe yourself in the best attributes, of course. And that was I actually I read somewhere that if the woman says that she's fit, that usually she's overweight, things like that. Because we all have tendencies of exaggerating sometimes. But beside us, we post a wish list who we looking for, don't we? It's a
Yes.
wish list. I'm looking for a medium or tall guy or a short guy, and what's the what's the body shape or what's the education, if he should have kids or not. So many wrong things there because there is no such a thing as going to the store look for for a perfect half second half. There's no such thing. So there is looking for a wish list, and sometimes we think we got this. We're meeting this person. Just imagine, okay, you put your wish list in a woman, right? And she's appearing
Right.
before you on a first date. What are you assuming? You automatically assume everything that you wanted in her, she has it, right?
Right.
What if she's lying?
Yes.
So
Literally catfishing, right? Catfishing and online deception is rampant throughout the apps, right? So not only do I put and say all the things that I want, and if the algorithm, I guess, matches me to someone who says that they are those things, but then they show up and they're completely different from what is actually on the thing. Yeah, now you are upset, right? Do you feel as though it's difficult to deal with that? I mean, what do you do?
you feel betrayed. You feel betrayed. But the thing is that you're also finding out that gives us opportunities to find out things about ourselves because let's say you're gonna write, I love reading and long walks on the beach. And then they will match you with people that they put the same thing on their side, but on the profile, but doesn't mean that's true. They might just put that there because it looks good, because it sounds
Right.
good. Before I met my husband, I saw one profile. I'm a student of life. That means he was unemployed. You know, so that was there are different things. So like, oh, I will never forget the profile. She's independent woman. She doesn't need a man to support her. Um, and she just wants someone who likes walks on the beach. And there are pictures of her assets, front and back. You didn't see the face. So doesn't that really it makes you ask a question? What is she really looking for? What is she advertising there?
There are a lot of questions. I say to myself,
Right?
not only is there deception there, but then there's also like, okay, the thing I care about is this, and then the thing I put out for you to catch you is completely different. So I'm talking about my body, but well, I'm speaking about love and relationships, but I'm talking about my body, which technically, Agnes, it doesn't seem to be wrong to me. I mean, what do you do if men actually do choose those people who post their bodies, physical pictures of their attributes? Maybe that's the thing that gets guys, and the thing that
Okay,
gets girls. Yeah,
so from now on, I'll be hi, I'm Agnes.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, I would say, yeah. Someone told me the other day, and I'm not on the apps, right? So unfortunately, I'm kind of talking off of other people's experiences. I've sampled from different friends and whatever they told me. But someone told me the other day that they're attracted to men with minds, who speak, who are intelligent and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, and then proceeded to start to talk to me on the text message. And I'm like, oh, that's very interesting, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is true. I don't know how you're able to I might be funny, but not necessarily that intelligent, or I might be intelligent, not necessarily someone fun to be around. So that's a very interesting thing. I don't know what people are going to do if they think they're expecting one thing and then they get something else on the other hand. That it seems very complicated, right?
With you particularly, you have
Oh,
nothing
here we go.
to worry about. Please, please. Um, I dated quite for some time before I met my husband. And his description, by the way, wasn't exactly the way he really is, but we found each other's ways, like what we like in each other. And like I keep always saying, him and I, we were destined to be together because we broke up so many times before we got married, but we always find our way back. But that's not about me right now. There is the change in individual look, and you sound very intellectual. So there is, please, nothing to worry about. And there is if obviously she must be attracted to the way you look as well, otherwise she wouldn't be talking to you.
Right.
So, you know, I did had an experience with one of my friends like 20 years ago. We saw this gorgeous guy. I mean, like he was in his 20s and built and hair and everything. Like the jaw drops to the floor. As soon as he opened his mouth, the charm was gone. It's a completely gone. It's like, I don't want to even look at you. It was just so disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, so disappointing.
That
So
that that makes sense, right? It's harder to translate personality across text message, across apps, across images. That person is not necessarily the person who you mean. I mean, first of all, if I were using an app, everybody would have to put up a video because you want to put up a video of them talking to you, speaking to you. Because first of all, I remember this big problem that they had with this cheating website. You remember that? Ashley Madison. You remember that? And
yes,
it turns out that about 70% of the women who were on the site were not women at all. They were bots. And so they were just responding because that's what they did. They programmed them to respond and keep the people on the thing. So you want to be sure that that person actually exists. So it's completely changed the way we talk, at least through the machine. That's one big change. But then what about this other thing? The fact that at any point in time, you can swipe, and just get a different person. So instead of working on the relationship or working through the relationship, the way you told me that you and David like work through it, you and your husband work through it. A lot of people probably just say, I don't care. This person, isn't perfect. Everything I want isn't there. And then just get rid of them because they feel like there's 100 other people waiting in the wings for them to choose. Yes?
well, number one, if you're just swiping and you looking at the physical aspects of a person, interested most likely 90% of the time in one thing. Okay, not to have deep emotional relationship with that person because it takes more than just okay, he's good looking, she's good looking. I don't know. I can't imagine doing that. Okay, I really can't. When you meet someone, you have to develop certain, like, yes, your look, it's your first business card. Like, if you're going to attract someone or not. On the internet, when you're just writing, you're supposed to be, I guess that might often start with, okay, it's intellectual connection because there is more to looks and everything else. Yes, very true. But when you are in your 20s or your 30s, you don't think about that. You are going for looks first. Absolutely, you're going for looks first. And everything else, it's secondary. And yes, it's so much easier in 20s and 30s to swipe and okay, one of my girlfriends said, men are like buses. One is leaving the station, another one will come. So she had no problem rejecting or like, okay, you're not proposing to me in 3 months, you're not offering me big house and everything else. So next, until she finds someone who will do that. Hopefully she did. I lost touch with her. But when people are in their 40s and 50s, relationship has a little bit deeper meaning because you are willing to work on the differences. You are willing to work on problems just because you already know what's important in life, what's important to you. Plus, we don't have that much time to invest in several new relationships because it's not so easy to find a new relationship, to invest your time, to put invest your energy.
Right.
And if you finally find someone that you think you can spend more time with, then you're meeting family and so on and so forth, and that's a lot of work.
Yeah. And the truth is, the older you
You
are,
don't,
you feel like you have less time.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And if you want to grow old with someone, you want to be able to enjoy your life with that person before you really get old. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, darling, let's go. You get your walker, I'll get my cane, and let's go for a walk on the beach. So you're trying to do this before you got to the point, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I heard a comedian joking about time and timing,
So
and he
it
was
is a lot.
saying,
It is a lot in a relationship. It's not only or smile.
yeah,
Yes, you were
yeah,
saying.
yeah, he was talking about time and timing and how, the older you get, like there's just certain things you have to deal with. And the way society is now, everybody wants, this is another technology thing, right? There's such an accessibility of fantasies, specifically pornography, things that happen on Instagram that seem like pornography or may not necessarily be pornography, but there's such an accessibility of the fantasy, not the reality of what actually happens between real people, that people have expectations. And this guy was saying, as you get older, some of those expectations that are required of men who are 50 and above mean that someone has to hold on, honey, and pop a blue pill, then go in the back and wait for 30. You give me 30 minutes and I'll be good. But it was just like how technology and how it's changed, and timing, and people thought process. And this guy, he's saying, I'm dating a lot of much younger women because I can find them. In fact, I can tell the algorithm I want women who are in their 20s and 30s, even though I might be in my 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And so I assume that's what the algorithm does, right? It might match you with some people who it feels like you're close to, but at the same time, it also respects your requests. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Nowadays, that's what I mean. It's a
Yeah.
wish list. The algorithms find just trying to satisfy our wish
Yeah.
list. And I'm sure that there's so many fishes in the sea, you're going to find the one that you are looking for. But a lot of times, see, it's easier right now to find someone online through different apps than actually in real life and do the real thing, which is
Yeah.
to meet, to face each other, to discover each other, and then find the time to actually see if whatever that person is saying is the truth. So it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work.
Right.
On on the app, okay, well, this person you already know. She has daddy issues. She wants this older man with money, or actually maybe she's a good girl and she's just fed up with younger guys and looking for someone that will give her everything she desires. So
Right.
that's halfway through that you think that you're finding that person. The problem is it true? Because personally, I do not trust those things. I really don't. And also, what is beyond me, you were mentioning before catfishing, we're hearing all the time, and especially happens to men that and a little bit older, that they are so lonely, and a smart woman can, when it comes to love, can be gullible and naive and actually believe in things over the phone and through messages and never have face to face to find out and date people losing money. People are being uh, you'll hear so many different stories. Like,
So many stories all
yeah,
the time. You hear those. Not only are people lonely and they want to make this connection
it's
through
just
the
sad.
app, or or through video or whatever. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I have this problem. Can you send me $10,000 to save my home? And there are many, many stories. I've seen them on the news
Yeah.
where there's a guy and he completely covers up his face and he says, yes. They change his voice. He's like, yes, I have been stealing from women in the last women. And, you know, they have to put their faces in the dark because they basically are scam artists. And it's what they do. You say, at any point in time, I will have 25 women who I am talking to and getting their money. And it's just the saddest, saddest thing. And it seems to me that their availability, the fact that they can reach out to you through technology makes us all so much more vulnerable, because here you think you're having a great conversation with this wonderful person, and every response might be generated by ChatGPT. It's quite possible. Or they can do it themselves. You know, they're really good at it. They've figured out a formula, and they just keep on doing it. It's very, very sad. And so that's the thing. I mean, you have that increased accessibility and so many choices that you end up having that issue. And now you've got the cultural and societal impacts that make it so that now who do you trust? I would never trust. If that happened to me, like someone took $10,000 from me, then I would never talk to anybody on an app again. I'd be so scared. I remember when I was dating.
Don't stop talking to them.
Yeah, okay. I remember when I was dating as a young man.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You go.
No, I just said that I would stop talking to them as soon as they ask me for 10,000.
Yeah, you would turn it off. But I'm assuming there are some people who, like I said, you know, they start, they're worried. They feel like, oh, I'm alone, or they have that fear of missing out, that FOMO. Like there are a lot of people out here with FOMO, and they are just going as quickly as they can to meet as many possible people as they possibly can, right? So, I mean, there clearly are some people who are doing well at this, but then there are others. Now, well, what about the success stories? It seems to me that if you can get matched with just the right person who likes the right music, who, you know, actually enjoys museums or enjoys reading books for real, like if you put the real true person who you are, this is kind of a positive, yes, because how would you ever meet that person if you lived in a small town in a, you know, what we call a flyover state, right? You'd never meet that person. But now you can find them anywhere in the world. You can find them anywhere in the contiguous United States. That's a positive, yes.
Well, absolutely. Example, my husband and I, we would never, our paths will never cross. They would never cross if it wouldn't be for the fact that we actually found each other on one of the websites.
Right.
But again, just from my and when I met, I had coffee dates with two people before I met my husband.
Okay.
What a BS artists. I mean, it's just incredible. Just incredible. You know, it so that's why it, and even what I hear from my girlfriends, who are they meeting? It's like, oh, he said this, oh, he said that. Well, turned out that he cannot have dates on weekends because he's married. So that's why he can only see her on weekdays. But otherwise, he's such a wonderful man. He is my soulmate, you know?
Oh. We all want to find our soulmate. That's part of it, right? We're catfishing ourselves to some extent. We're like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. She's got to be my soulmate. Meanwhile, every one of your friends meet her and is just like, oh my gosh, Ryan, run. do not walk away from that person. So it's fascinating to hear how we kind of fool ourselves into thinking, yeah, this is the perfect person because they like all the things that we like. All of this stuff just seems to work out. I think there are other things, though. I mean, you can't really know a person until you're standing kind of in the same space as them. Sometimes I think that smell is a big part of it. Like people's perfume is one thing, but then also, you know, men have pheromones, women have pheromones that you might be smelling and be into. I know there are people who I've stood close to and I looked at them and saw that's a very attractive person, but they got closer to me or I got closer to them and there was no chemistry there at all. Literally, and I'm talking about real chemistry. Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. I mean, but then sometimes in the movies, they kind of want to make it look like those are the best matches, like the opposite attract. What do you think? You think that that's real? Opposites attract?
Yes, absolutely. I
Okay.
do believe that the opposites attract. I can't imagine two high strung people together that will be batting bad heads all the time, you know. So it has to be that happy medium. One may be more aggressive and another one more calm, so they can learn from each other on the long run, you know, and become actually better people. So that's one thing. Websites are giving us, or apps, they're giving us a promise of a wish list. That's what I see, that the promise of a wish list. Finding that just whatever we want, it's difficult. And maybe with when several people, maybe people will the one that you're looking for, you see that maybe your standards are irrealistic, they're not realistic, maybe they're too high, maybe you have to adjust to what you're looking for, so that fantasies start diminishing a little bit and until you find that the reality list, that's exactly what you can find and what you can live with. And the finally sometimes you have to make a choice that okay, you are attracted physically to a person, so other things they have to be less important. Maybe you're going to learn from that person. Maybe you will open yourself to new things and you will find out that okay, maybe what she or he likes, it's not so bad, maybe I can do this. And a lot of couples, they don't share everything. They don't have to like the same music, they don't have to like the same movies, they don't like to do the same things. What you have to do is to compromise and go enjoy, go to a concert once in a while with that person and enjoy the music that they enjoy. You have to learn how to compromise to make sure that the person that you choose is also happy, and they will do the same thing for you. So
Yeah.
especially the 20-year-olds, they will swipe. No, I'm going to find that particular person. Okay. Like one of six-figure salary, 401k, there's this big car and a great job and blah 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 blah. Should have seen who she married, not the person from the list,
Not the person.
not from the list. But happy, she's happy, she's happy.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes that's what you choose. You say, okay, whatever. That's not necessarily what I want, but that I'm looking for this. But it's a very interesting way to get it done because if you choose all these things on this list and then you don't get all of them, or like you said, you meet with that person, they put something into the machine, but now everything that they put in the machine is not the truth. Now what do you do? I mean, is it because they lied to the machine, or is it because the machine didn't care and just thought, you know what? you are lying and you are lying, and I'm gonna put the two of you together regardless, right? Which is basically, just the algorithm figuring out that there are euphemisms for certain things. Like I heard someone say, yeah, I put on there that I'm thick, and that means literally that they are a little more hefty. You know what I mean? Oh, I've got a dad bod. Okay, what does that mean? Yeah, it means you've got a little bit of a muffin top or whatever. So all these different euphemisms that we use, I'm sure the technology is figuring it out. What about the fact that, all right, moving on from the apps themselves, but what about the fact that you can constantly, I mean, constantly reach out to people and talk to them at any point in time? I think there are a lot of expectations that come with that. What do you think about the fact that these things, these phones, that we have here can make it so that I can talk to anybody I want at any time?
It's wonderful thing. It's really wonderful thing. Again, in every single thing you can find good things and bad things, and accessibility. Like, I think those apps were created to give everyone hope, to create that, like I said, fantasy of a possible wish list that actually can be satisfied. Give access to people. Look, I mean, especially in this country, time is money, so we are on a go. We don't really, you don't, you go to Europe, you feel in the air a laid back atmosphere. Here, okay, I gotta go to do this, I gotta do that. And it's like we don't have time. How much time do we really have for ourselves? What
Right.
about to make ourselves pretty and go out and do something? So those phones, that's wonderful. You have access. You can say good night to someone without interrupting the day. You can say good morning in the morning, and with the filter and everything else, we all can look very nice and pretty in the morning without grooming ourselves, So there is 10,000 different things. So this is a nice thing.
It is.
But yes, when you are being contacted by someone via text message or tools to, okay, verify if that person really exists, verify if that person, it's real, and it's not. If they're giving you excuses, then just let go, move on, because like I said, you can always swipe, right? So
Well, that's one of the things too. Like, it's one thing to be contacted by the person, but what about the fact that sometimes people can just decide, you know what, I'm going to disappear, and then there's no contact whatsoever. I mean, the etiquette of what is going on sometimes is scary too. Like, how do we, as a people, deal with that? And I hear people are ghosting, not just people in relationships, they're ghosting their job, they're ghosting their mom and dad. Like, people just disappear off the face of the earth. How do you well, I guess if the person is far enough away, or you live in a large city center, then maybe you may never meet that person, because they say something and you're just like, okay, no, I don't want to talk to that person, go away. But what if it's someone who's nearby and you actually do meet them in person? Then you've got an issue, right?
well, not only the issue, also for 29.95, you can find out from the phone number where they live. So just throwing that out there. So, but the like I said, the etiquette. Yes, you just don't do that to people. Don't do to others what you would not want to have it done to you. So it's
Yeah. Yeah.
you want to call and say, listen, it's not working out, instead just disappearing. That it's never serves any problems.
Right.
That's not a salvage. So it's you always will find people that they don't know how to behave. So it doesn't matter if this is via text messages or in person. It
Exactly. I'm just saying, does it make it easier?
tells you who they are.
Because the technology at this point allows you to just cut it off and never see or hear from that person again. Because that's part, one of the negatives that I see. It's like, okay, I can reach anybody when I want, but I could also just disappear out of their lives and never. hopefully never see them again. You've got to move to another city just in case. But think I think that's it. I mean, what do you think the future is going to look like? How is this reshaping us? Like, romance is definitely different than 20 years ago when I was originally courting my ex. Like, that is not the same type of thing. We got to go out. We all have to do this thing now and do it. And almost everybody's using an app, but it is so different. What do you think is going to happen in the future, regardless of what's happening now?
As a human race, we are really looking always for something easier, more accessible. So I'm not sure how much easier that can get, because now you're swiping from the list. Now, if you don't like someone, you just ghost them and move on. There is no responsibility. It's a little frightening. It's a little frightening, to be honest,
It is.
because like now people will send you things like, I'm sure that you had a lot of emails or just contacts to Facebook, even the people you see that this is fake, or someone is just collecting someone. I'm not going to be on anybody's list, so there is one thing, there is the swiping thing, but where is really, because we are rushing, we don't have time to concentrate on getting to know each other. We think that we're just going to write it down. Okay, this is what we're looking for. They will find it, like on up they will match you with that person. Okay, so what will be next? Hi, I'm so and so, and so when we're picking the wedding date. So because we are so comparable, you have to invest time, you have to get to know each other. I'm sorry, the old fashioned way is just, you can't run away from that, because even if you're going to pick someone who's going to be willing to talk to you still have to invest time and energy to find out if what this person is all about, if they really know what they are all about, because they might think that they like those long walks on the beach, but they really don't like the beach. So
Or
it's
they can fake that for the first 3 months of the relationship, because you're hanging out with their executive assistant or their representative. That's what I call it. Like, that
yeah.
person who you're meeting in the beginning is not really that person. And then later on, when they can't keep up that 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 facade, the next thing you know, now we're dealing with the new person. You're already married to them. You're a year in. You're married to them, and you've got problems because that person didn't really exist. It's scary. It does seem to be a little bit scary. But I'm going to say the positives are that there does seem to be so much pool. There are 8 billion people on this planet at this moment, ladies and gentlemen. And I feel like you should be able to find one of them who is honest and open and shares your values and won't just have you over to a hotel to take your liver and give it to somebody else, right?
And we don't want money for it.
No liver. I need my kidneys. All right. So, ladies and gents, we're going to shut this down now. If you
Oh
want to talk
gosh,
about
yes.
something specific, please send that to mailbag@lovedeathandtaxes.com. That is where we receive your suggestions. That's where, if you want to come on the show, you definitely want to check that out. Check it out here. If you are in the throes of tax season and you know you've got issues, this is where you need to go, nytaxresolutions.com, and talk to Agnes, who is an amazing tax resolution specialist, especially for people who have businesses or who are in trouble with their taxes, who the IRS is knocking. Well, they don't really knock at the door, do they, Agnes? and they don't
You do.
call you either. What they do is they send you a lot of, of mail. And if you know they're breathing down your neck and you need to do something about it, please do something about it by going to nytaxresolutions.com and speaking to Agnes about that. Other than that, ladies and gents, I am hoping to talk to you soon about a similar topic here at Love, Death, and Taxes. Agnes, you have something else for them?
Well, just enjoy your weekend and speak to you soon.
All right. All right. So, ladies and gents, I'll talk to you soon.